After Frederick angrily proposed breaking up, I took the child in my belly, bought a ticket overnight, and moved away. I don't want any damn man. Mom, where's my dad? Your dad sacrificed himself. What does sacrifice mean? It means he died. Everyone in City A knows Frederick has a bad temper, but he was different only with me. However, since his first love returned, Frederick changed. Break up then. With that breakup, I disappeared for 5 years, and Frederick searched for me like a madman for 5 years. Stella, I was wrong. Even if it's as a substitute, it doesn't matter, just don't drive me away. In the bathroom, I gripped the pregnancy test tightly in my hand. The 2 red lines on it were particularly glaring. I was actually pregnant? If it were before, I would have joyfully rushed to find Frederick and tell him I was pregnant, but now my heart was filled only with anxiety. Gently stroking my lower abdomen, I sighed. I wasn't sure what Frederick was really thinking. Coming to the living room, the clock on the wall showed it was 7.5 minutes short of 2 in the morning. Frederick hadn't returned yet, and I couldn't remember how many times this had happened since Miranda returned to the country. Frederick and I had been together for over 3 years, and I had never taken this rumored first love, Miranda, to heart. Frederick, I have something to tell you tonight. What time are you coming back? Frederick, can you reply? Are you not planning to come back? Looking at the messages in the Facebook dialog box that sank without a trace. The earliest one was sent at 3 in the afternoon, and the last one was half an hour ago, a little after 1 in the morning. The little expectation I had left for Frederick gradually disappeared in the erosion of time, turning into numbness. Miss, why don't you go upstairs and sleep first? No need, I'll wait for him to come back. Rose, you don't have to worry about me. The night was endlessly desolate. Dressed in thin clothes, I stubbornly sat in the living room, doing nothing but quietly waiting. I couldn't tell if I was waiting for Frederick or waiting for my love for him to completely disappear. Countless happy scenes from the past with Frederick flashed through my mind, and my eyes gradually reddened. At 3:30 in the morning, the sound of a car engine came from outside the villa. Why haven't you slept yet? I rubbed my numb hands. The words I originally wanted to say to Frederick were all stuck in my throat at that moment, unable to spit out or swallow. Where did you go? Frederick's gaze lightly swept over me, without lingering, and he casually brushed it off. Company matters are a bit busy. Just hearing it, I knew it was an excuse. I had already called his secretary. Is the company work very busy? Frederick felt stifled in his heart, his mind full of what Miranda had said to him a few months ago. I saw Stella's ex-boyfriend abroad, he looks quite like you. No other meaning, isn't it said that people always like the same type? Maybe Stella, forget it, don't overthink. Frederick didn't dare ask Stella, so he had someone secretly investigate Stella's ex, and surprisingly, he really did resemble him somewhat. Recalling Stella's reaction when she first saw him, Frederick's self-esteem was struck. You don't understand company matters. With that, Frederick walked straight up the stairs, unwilling to say another word. The corner of my mouth curled into a mocking smile. Frederick, why didn't you come on the day we were supposed to get the marriage certificate? The words hidden in my heart were finally asked out loud. It seemed that from that day on, the relationship between Frederick and me changed. Frederick's steps faltered, and he lightly evaded the question, meeting a client, didn't I tell you? I stood up from the sofa, looking at the man's slender back on the stairs. Have you been meeting clients all this time? Don't even have a few minutes to get the certificate? Frederick had done many absurd things for me before. When pursuing me, he had ditched many clients. I didn't believe he wouldn't go get the certificate because of meeting a client. I hadn't asked, waiting for Frederick to give me a reasonable explanation. Stella, have you really thought about getting married? I know you didn't come to the movie last month because Miranda called you. Behind him, I held back tears and didn't directly answer his question. Besides that time at the movie theater, there were actually many times when, even though Frederick didn't say, I knew he went to see Miranda. Probably not shedding tears until seeing the coffin, I insisted on hearing Frederick say it himself. Frederick was silent for a while before responding. I promised her brother I would take care of her. My heart ached as if torn apart. Pretending to be calm, I questioned him. These past few nights, you've been at the hospital with her, right? Stella, do you have to dwell on these things? It's either me or her. My hand unconsciously rested on my belly as I waited for him to pronounce the final verdict. Frederick frowned, treating me as unreasonable, and without a word, lifted his foot to continue upstairs. That night, Frederick slept in the study, while I in the bedroom barely slept all night, tears uncontrollably flowing down from the corners of my eyes. I thought of my own parents. In the scant memories of my childhood, my parents seemed always to be arguing. Father always said if they couldn't go on, they should divorce. Mother said she wouldn't let go even in death, vowing not to let the outside woman step into the house. Later, Mother really didn't let go even in death, both perished in a car accident. The next morning when I went downstairs, I vaguely heard him on the phone. "What's wrong with Miranda?" "Okay, I'll come right over." My eyes were full of disappointment. He was preparing to accompany Miranda again. The answer he didn't give me yesterday was told by his actions today. My voice had no emotional fluctuations, but the discomfort in my heart overflowed. "If you go to the hospital, we'll break up." Frederick met my gaze. On the phone, the doctor said Miranda's condition had worsened. Before Ryan died, he entrusted his sister to him. He couldn't not go. "Stella, don't make a fuss." Seeing Frederick still stubbornly wanting to go out, I calmly repeated my earlier words. "If you go to the hospital, we'll break up." "Break up then." Bang! His voice, accompanied by the loud slam of the door, disappeared into the empty villa. I collapsed, sitting on the cold steps, crying out loud. In my heart, I kept comforting myself. "It's okay, it's fine, baby, Mom will take you away." Raising my hand to try to wipe away the tears on my face, the tears fell like flowing water, too fast for me to wipe, instead smearing my face. In a daze, I returned to the bedroom and tidied my makeup at the dressing table. From the corner of the walk-in closet, I took out 2 dusty suitcases. I didn't take many things. None of the things Frederick bought with money did I take. Before leaving, I took off the ruby ring from my middle finger and left it on the dressing table. The engagement ring Frederick gave me, now that the wedding wouldn't happen, keeping it was useless. Rose was startled to see me carrying 2 suitcases and about to leave. "Miss Stella, where are you going? When the young master comes back and sees you're gone, he'll be anxious." I forced a smile, firmly pulling the suitcases toward the front door. "He won't. Since he chose Miranda, I'll leave gracefully." At the hospital, Miranda's attending physician said the condition had been basically controlled. Frederick breathed a sigh of relief, but the stifling feeling in his heart didn't disappear. He had argued with Stella, they had never argued before. "Call me if anything happens, I have company matters, I'll leave first." "Brother Frederick, can you leave later? I'm really scared being alone." Seeing Frederick about to leave, Miranda hurriedly grabbed his sleeve. Seeing the person in front of him, Frederick thought of the woman in the villa. Stella cared so much about Miranda's presence. Was it because she liked him a bit too? "There are doctors and nurses here, don't be afraid, they'll save you." "I'll leave first." Frederick went to the company and stayed in the office for a full 3 days before returning to the villa. He specifically asked the female staff at the company, bought a bunch of things girls like, and flowers, stuffing the trunk full. The living room was empty. When entering, he didn't see anyone in the garden either. She should be upstairs. At this time, Stella liked lying on the chaise lounge sunbathing. Frederick carefully opened the door, but the bedroom was surprisingly empty too. Frederick panicked. He rushed to the study, didn't see anyone, then went to the bathroom and walk-in closet. He keenly noticed some things were missing. The ruby ring on the dressing table shone glaringly. Since he proposed to Stella, she had never taken it off once. Stella had really left. In City C, I sat on the rocking chair in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, sunlight shining into the room through the glass. My parents died early, and I wasn't good at business myself. Before Grandpa passed away, he handed the company to third uncle to manage, leaving me shares and some things. This small villa was one of my maternal grandfather's legacies. "Sister, are you planning to give birth to his child alone?" This is my child. It had nothing to do with that man. I chose to give birth because I love my own child. I decided to give birth after careful consideration. I could provide this child with a good material foundation and all my love. My belly was almost 5 months along, slightly protruding, and one could tell at a glance I was pregnant. My best friend Wendy was peeling an apple for me on the side, indignantly. I just think it's too easy on that damn scumbag. When pursuing you, he auctioned off tens of millions in antiques, learned to make cakes, and ended up being such a. Frederick's name was like a sharp blade, every mention felt like scraping a piece from my heart. I lowered my head to touch my belly, cleverly changing the topic. I want to eat the apple, you're peeling so slowly. Wendy sped up peeling, not forgetting to complain, I'm already fast enough. During pregnancy, I started having back pain, drowsiness, and even frequent nightmares. That night, I dreamed of Frederick again. It started as a beautiful dream. Miranda hadn't returned, and Frederick was as good to me as always. Stella, love exists, you can't live in the shadow of your childhood. We got married. On the day of getting the certificate, Frederick waited early at the Civil Affairs Bureau door, and soon I gave birth to a healthy and lively baby. Then the scene shifted. Frederick became irritable, started losing his temper at me, and often didn't come home. I've said many times I owe the Shin family. I must take good care of Miranda. Stella, can't you understand me? I can't understand. The baby is sick too, I need you too. The child needs a father. In the dream, like my mother, I went crazy, arguing with Frederick, tightly grabbing his arm, not letting him go out. Frederick's phone kept ringing. I could guess it was Miranda's call. I must go to the hospital now. Stella, don't be unreasonable. I reached out to grab Frederick's phone, tears pouring out like broken pearls. Even collapsing to kneel and beg him, Frederick still left. Watching his receding figure, it was as if I saw my father slamming the door and leaving when I was little. Frederick's back overlapped with the back of my father in my childhood memories. Frederick. 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 I murmured, opening my eyes drenched in sweat, and only upon seeing the room's furnishings did I realize it was a dream. Perhaps the dream was too realistic, tears still hung at the corners of my eyes, and I remembered everything in the dream clearly. In the dream, Frederick once again chose Miranda and abandoned me. Time passed quickly, and over 4 more months went by. In one summer, I gave birth to a son. I named the child Ethan. In this world, besides third uncle and my cousin, my third family member appeared. Wendy, he's so ugly. I want to be the godmother. I myself am a comic artist and can work from home. Before having Ethan, I didn't like going out. After having Ethan, I completely couldn't go out. Ethan was born frail, probably because of my poor mood during pregnancy. I hired 2 aunts to take turns caring for Ethan, and with Wendy coming over occasionally to help, it was much better. This situation lasted until Ethan was 5 and started kindergarten. What if you're discovered bringing Ethan back to City A like this? My cousin is getting married. Besides, I can't avoid City A for a lifetime, right? For my cousin's wedding, third uncle called, and I prepared to take Ethan to City A for a few days. Looking at the little bean ding sitting on the sofa, saying I wasn't worried about encountering Frederick would be false. When he was just born, his little face was wrinkled and it was hard to tell who he resembled. As he grew, his features increasingly looked like Frederick's. I often stared at him in a daze, occasionally recalling the times in City A before. Mom, where is City A? City A is where Mom grew up. Ethan crawled step by step toward where I was, nodding as if understanding, then hesitantly asked. Is Dad in City A too? Hearing the word Dad, my mind exploded with a bang. I had never mentioned Dad to Ethan, and since Ethan could speak, he had never said Dad. Ethan, why do you think Dad is in City A? Hannah's mom and Dad pick her up from school together every day. Ethan had grown up, he started realizing what a dad is. Every family should have a dad role, our family only has Mom. Mom, why doesn't our family have a dad? Mom? Seeing me silent and not answering, Ethan called Mom again. The child would know the truth sooner or later. I couldn't let him feel different from other children. I held Ethan in my arms, rubbed his head, and carefully said, "Ethan, you have a dad too, but he can't appear." "Why can't Dad appear?" The little guy blinked, looking at me with a face full of confusion. "Your dad, he sacrificed himself." "What is sacrifice?" Ethan was only 5 and had no concept of death. I thought this should be a white lie, better than the child knowing Dad was a scumbag. It could also teach him the meaning of death. It means died, can't be seen anymore, can never be seen forever. "Mom, you must not die. Ethan wants to see Mom every day." Upon hearing this, I was stunned again. I thought Ethan would cry or make a fuss, but unexpectedly, this was his reaction. I hugged Ethan tighter, comforted, "Ethan, don't worry, you can still see Mom for a long time." Ethan's small hand grabbed my close corner, in a milky voice, "Mom must not leave Ethan." I smiled comfortingly, but thinking of a certain man, I dejectedly lowered my eyelashes. My childhood had only my father's back. I knew too well what a healthy family means to a child. Will Ethan be sad without a dad? The little bean ding in my arms shook his head without hesitation. "No, Ethan is fine with Mom." For him, Dad was just a family component. It seemed Hannah's dad had no use besides picking her up from school. Kindergarten was on holiday. I took the child back to City A. When getting off the plane, I wrapped the child tightly, with mask and hat, just afraid someone would recognize us. I had heard Wendy mention a few times that Frederick seemed to still be inquiring about my whereabouts these years. "Ethan, come, Uncle gives you a big red envelope." "Thank you, Uncle." At the wedding site, as soon as Mason saw Ethan, he stuffed a big red envelope into his hand. Bro, he doesn't lack money. This is my intention as an uncle, it's not about the money. Not far away, Jasper, watching this scene, quietly took out his phone, snapped a photo, and sent it to the Facebook group. "Damn, I feel this woman might be Stella." Jasper was a bit distant from Stella and them, so he didn't hear their conversation clearly, and Stella was wearing a hat. He couldn't confirm if it was Stella for a moment, just guessing from the intimacy between Mason and her. The Facebook group quickly had a bunch of replies. S. What the hell can you see from this? L. Looks like a woman. A. Even Frederick himself wouldn't recognize at this level. Among these messages, only one stood out particularly. F. I'll be there soon. J. Bro, you knew? Jasper scratched his head. How did Frederick know where he was if not? Frederick didn't reply further. He guessed Stella would definitely come for Mason's wedding. He had long arranged people to stake out the airport and wedding site. As soon as Stella appeared, they would message him immediately. "Mom, there are so many delicious things." Ethan's eyes lit up seeing these foods. Many were ones I usually didn't let him eat. I nodded, not stopping him from picking food. Because Ethan had poor health, I was very careful with his diet usually. Today, I'll make an exception. "Mom, Ethan wants a straw." "Okay, Mom will go ask the waiter for you." I just stood up, and the smile on my face froze. The man's appearance was still the same, with added maturity and steadiness. His temperament was much softer than 5 years ago. He stood about 3 meters from me, not far not near, his burning gaze staring straight at me. I subconsciously blocked in front of Ethan, not wanting him to discover the child's existence. "Mom, what's wrong?" With that Mom, Frederick's gaze looked behind me. Before coming, he had heard Stella brought a child when getting off the plane. He originally thought his subordinates missaw. Unexpectedly, she really brought a child, and the child called her Mom? Frederick had the answer in his heart but dared not say it, stuck in his throat. I thought myself calm, but my trembling hands had long exposed everything. Meeting again was so unexpected. The two stared at each other in stalemate, neither stepping forward, time seeming frozen at this moment. "Mom, Ethan wants a straw." Ethan poked his little head from behind me, tugging her close corner to pull her attention back. I tightly held the child's hand, not daring to leave a step. "I'll go ask the waiter for a straw." Frederick reacted first, turning to find nearby waiters. He wasn't afraid Stella would run again, from the moment she returned to City A, she was destined not to escape. Until the man handed the straw to Ethan, I had only one thought in my mind. It's over, everything's over. Mom, can I take the straw from Uncle? Ethan suspiciously sized up Frederick, wanting the straw but remembering Mom said not to take things from strangers. Frederick raised his eyes to look at me, his eyes revealing too many emotions. The joy of regaining what was lost, and the cautious fear of not getting forgiveness, dominated most. Ethan, you can't drink too much milk, today, let's not drink first. My first reaction was a bit cruel to Ethan. Ethan's face showed confusion, he didn't understand why he suddenly couldn't drink milk. Mom, didn't you say yesterday to drink more milk to grow tall? Ethan has grown up, need to learn to drink milk without a straw. Frederick understood that I didn't want the child to have any contact with him. Mason was startled when he saw Frederick. Over the years, Frederick had always come to inquire about Stella's whereabouts. He had always been brushed off, but he didn't expect that today he would actually run into Stella directly. Let's talk. Nothing to talk about. I rejected straightforwardly, back then, saying breakup meant breakup, now the two had long cleared relations. Ethan is my child alone, no one think of snatching him. Saying those in front of the child is inappropriate. Frederick said in a low voice, the implication a naked threat. I glared at him, but ultimately compromised. Handed the child to third uncle, followed Frederick to the stairwell. I impatiently urged him, say what you want quickly. The child is mine, right? Frederick wanted Stella to give him a definite answer. If she said no, he wouldn't believe it. Mentioning the child made me guilty, but thinking of past events, I righteously replied, no. From my understanding of Frederick, from his reaction earlier, I knew he was convinced the child was his. He is our child. This was a statement, I almost laughed in anger. Frederick, where does your confidence come from? Where's the face? Opening mouth to recognize son, this appearance as if it wasn't him who wanted to break up back then. Past things were all my fault, after you left, I searched for you a long time, these years I really missed you. Frederick stepped forward, closing the distance between us. I warily stepped back, I hadn't thought Frederick would apologize and admit wrong first. His temper was famously stubborn and bad in the circle, even when pursuing me before and making me angry, he never straightforwardly said sorry. At most, send gifts and shamelessly follow behind me. We've already broken up. I don't agree. Hearing the word breakup, Frederick got anxious. His biggest regret was saying breakup to Stella that day. Frederick, breakup was proposed by you, you have no right to disagree. Seeing my firm attitude, Frederick didn't continue talking about reconciliation. Recalling that little boy, he asked, his name is Ethan? None of your business. Ethan is my soft spot, if Frederick fights me for the child, it's like wanting my life. Stella, your temper has worsened. Frederick's voice softened, sounding a bit aggrieved like acting spoiled. I had never seen such a Frederick, your skin has thickened too. Frederick heard and wasn't angry, how dare he lose temper at Stella? If Stella ran again, he would definitely go crazy. Why didn't you tell me back then, taking Ethan and leaving? He's not your son. Broken up, why tell him? Now wanting to recognize son is dreaming. Frederick seemed not to understand my words, saying to himself, Miranda and I have nothing, Stella, believe me. The familiar name appeared, the thorn hidden in my heart was mentioned again. The scenes of arguing with Frederick over Miranda back then were vivid, this thorn stabbed me hard again. Frederick, I don't care about these anymore, now I just want to live well with Ethan. Don't care? Meaning don't care about him either? Frederick's hand hooked my fingertip, voice hoarse, I know I was wrong, come back. What substitute, he long didn't mind. As long as Stella could return to his side, he wouldn't dwell on these. I withdrew my hand without hesitation, Frederick, we ended long ago. Frederick lowered his head, silent for a long time, I thought he had accepted the fact, turned to prepare to leave. Stella, I was wrong, even if as a substitute, it doesn't matter, don't drive me away. The man's choking sob came from behind, my steps faltered, surprised, I turned back to look at him. Frederick's eyes were red, tears sliding from the corners, looking utterly like an abandoned pitiful figure. He was actually crying? Before I reacted, Frederick pulled me into his arms. The familiar scent drilled into my nose, awakening some past memories. Consider me begging you, give me another chance. That day when I came home and found you gone, I regretted, I shouldn't have argued with you. Shouldn't have said angry words. I won't dwell on the substitute thing anymore. Don't be angry with me, okay? Frederick held me, crying and saying many words, my mind buzzed, taking half a while to react. What substitute, Frederick, what are you talking about? Frederick increased strength, hugging tighter as if to embed me into his body. I tried to push him away, let go first. The man didn't budge, I added, I won't run. Frederick then let go of me, looking at his reddened eye corners, my memory was pulled back to the past for a moment. I didn't understand what you just said about substitute. Frederick very unwillingly spit out a name, Brian, your ex-boyfriend. He's not my ex. I was stunned. Brian was my high school senior. We had a good relationship in high school, but contact gradually lessened after university. A glint appeared in Frederick's dark eyes, he repeatedly confirmed, did you like him? I shook my head blankly, completely not knowing what he was asking. How did it suddenly involve Brian? The corners of my mouth rose, a pair of watery eyes very alluring. He hugged me again, murmuring, then you must not like him in the future. I was completely dumbfounded. Are you crazy? Why couldn't I understand a word he said? After Frederick's explanation, I roughly understood. He misunderstood that I was with him because I liked Brian. Ethan is still waiting for me. I'll go in with you. Frederick held my hand to walk in, I shook off his hand, coldly said, we haven't reconciled. I know. Frederick didn't continue holding my hand, obediently following behind me. Just back to the wedding site, happened to meet Mason coming to toast. Mason asked Frederick, weren't you going to Country F? He had checked, Frederick should be on business in Country F today. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare call Stella back. Frederick replied somewhat sarcastically, didn't you say you didn't know where Stella went? Indeed didn't know, this time Stella said she wanted to come back herself. Frederick couldn't be bothered to settle old scores with Mason, his gaze searched for my figure and followed. I talked with third uncle for a while, Ethan wanted to go to the bathroom. Frederick saw I was leaving, quickly ran to her side, didn't say not running? That was just now. I didn't leave him a glance, pulling the child to continue walking. Frederick directly blocked in front of me, face grave. Stella. I'm taking Ethan to the toilet. Ethan's gaze went back and forth between me and Frederick, puzzled. Frederick's suspended heart relaxed, let me take Ethan, male toilet, inconvenient for you. When Ethan was small, I had no choice alone, could only take him to female toilet. This year Ethan in kindergarten, new gender differences, every time I took him to toilet, he always asked me. Mom, why do I go to female toilet, I'm a man. I hesitated, she lowered head to look at the ignorant Ethan. Mom, Ethan wants to pee. Ethan, one hand held by me, one hand grabbing pants, anxiously looking at me. Let me take the child. Frederick spoke again, I sighed, wavered. Then you take Ethan, I'll wait at the toilet door. I feared Frederick would run with the child, guarded at the toilet door. Ethan looked up at the little figure on the toilet door, turned back excitedly shouting, Mom, today I can go to male toilet. One sentence, my nose instantly soured, if not outside, her tears would really flow. When Jasper was washing hands, saw Frederick leading child in, startled. Damn, Frederick, where did you kidnap a child from? Not kidnapped. Frederick calmly replied, led Ethan in to help him toilet. Jasper originally wondered whose kid this was, walking out of toilet seeing Stella, his mind suddenly turned. This couldn't be Stella's son? Frederick never brought kids, luckily Ethan could toilet himself, he just watched him wash hands. Uncle, are you Mom's friend? I am. I am your mom's friend. Frederick really wanted to tell him he was his father, but words to mouth could only change. Seeing Ethan brought out intact by Frederick, Stella's furrowed brows relaxed. Thanks. This is what I should do. From coming out of toilet to wedding end, Frederick followed by my side, smile on mouth never stopped. On the contrary, I couldn't smile at all. Going back to stay tonight? Frederick tentatively asked in the elevator. I knew where he meant by back, couldn't help reminding, Frederick, I didn't agree to reconcile with you. Mom, what does reconcile mean? Ethan didn't understand the meaning of these two words, asked in milky voice. I always didn't know how to explain these two words to the child. Frederick just wanted to explain, stopped by my glance. Ethan will know when grown up. I stayed at Chi House that night, originally thought Frederick's temperament would definitely cling tightly, unexpectedly he agreed just like that. I originally planned to stay in City A with Ethan until National Day end, now I changed mind, leave tomorrow. The longer stay in City A, the more trouble. Next morning early, I took Ethan to bid farewell to third uncle them, then directly headed to airport. Before getting off, I still put masks on Ethan and me, afraid of being recognized. As boarding time neared, my heart wasn't tense as beginning. Almost time, Ethan, let's go. Okay. She pulled Ethan forward, I seeing about to reach boarding gate, behind came familiar voice. Stella. No need to turn, I knew it was Frederick. I picked up the child to run, but was caught up by Frederick first. Mom, it's that uncle from yesterday. My face sank, should have thought it wouldn't be so smooth. You're leaving again? Where I go is my freedom. Frederick frowned, looking at Ethan in my arms, relented, okay, you go. I had a face of disbelief, he agreed just like that. Afraid Frederick would regret, I held Ethan and ran back to boarding gate, only when on plane did heart settle. Mom, are you hiding from that uncle? Ethan, don't be afraid, we won't see that uncle anymore. I lightly patted Ethan's back, Ethan tilted head, pair of big eyes blinking. Ethan not afraid, Ethan likes that uncle, he took Ethan to male toilet. My face condensed, heart alarmed, low voice asked, do you like that uncle a lot? Ethan nodded heavily, not hiding his happiness, yes, Ethan likes that uncle a lot. That uncle yesterday took him to pee, at meal also peeled big shrimp for him. I wondered, is this father-son connection? Uncle. I followed Ethan's voice to look, Frederick reappeared in my view. Hello Ethan. Frederick like nothing happened, sat beside me greeting Ethan. My expression showed impatience, why are you here again? Where to go is my freedom. Frederick inwardly rejoiced, good he long prepared and bought ticket for this flight too. I had an ominous premonition, afraid Frederick was following us to City C. Plane took off half hour, Ethan hugged my arm and fell asleep. My whole arm numb, but dared not move afraid to wake Ethan. Frederick seeing this, leaned to my ear, or push him awake? This way your hand uncomfortable. I frowned, Ethan health originally not good, how can wake him while sleeping? Now just meal time, like this inconvenient to eat. Frederick held bowl, scooped spoon of rice to my mouth. Food aroma induced more stomach acid secretion. Uncomfortable feeling in stomach heavier. I won't eat, take away. Eat some. Said not eat. This child I also have responsibility. I was really hungry, Frederick right, he also responsible for child, eat then. Ethan groggily woke, saw Frederick holding spoon feeding me bite by bite. Dad? He slurred these two words, startling me and Frederick. I uncertainly asked, Ethan, what did you just say? Ethan yawned, stretched, Hannah's dad feeds Hannah's mom like this. Frederick mouth corners rose smiling, secretly tugged my close corner. I put hand in coat pocket, neither refuted nor admitted. Is Ethan's growth really better with a father's presence? I silently asked myself in heart, would Frederick be a good father? Plane landed already 8:30 p.m., we hadn't left airport, Frederick's phone rang nonstop. Initially Frederick didn't want to answer, later rang several more times. I vaguely guessed who, answer it. Frederick answered phone, voice keeping distance, what did doctor say? I'm not in Cydia now, back in few days, if anything, message me. It was Miranda. I basically confirmed. His sickly beauty's call came again. Heart like dropped a small stone, not quite painful, stuffy, a bit uncomfortable. I found it funny, Frederick long no relation with me, Miranda calling him naturally no relation with me either. Frederick watched my expression cool little by little, said a few short sentences and hastily hung up. Reached to pull my hand, shaken off by her. I held child, unconsciously sped pace, wanting to sever relation with him. Stella, wait for me. He grabbed my wrist, I wanted to pull out, he grabbed tighter. Let go. Listen to explanation. I didn't want to listen, holding child couldn't walk, forced to stay listen to him. Hospital called because her illness worsened again, you and her nothing just because her brother, these words I heard long ago. Not waiting for Frederick to finish, I impatiently interrupted. Heavier words I didn't say, afraid child notice affected. Ethan still here, let go. Both sides deadlocked, Frederick met my eyes, first defeated. Let me hold Ethan, he's too heavy. My right arm sore painful, pretended not hear Frederick's voice, stubbornly held Ethan. Children at some moments often most sensitive, at this moment Ethan keenly detected something. Ethan's hand stroked my face, Mom, Ethan can walk himself. No need, Mom can hold you. I really feared next second her tears would flow. I felt myself really lucky, having such cute sensible child. Frederick shamelessly followed me to home door, no matter what said wouldn't leave. I hardened heart, directly shut person outside gate. Him freeze or starve to death, none of my business? Current season at most bitten to death by outside mosquitoes. Mom, uncle sleeping outside door? Yes. Moment I put Ethan on sofa, right arm regained feeling. Ethan muttered low, outside very hot. I helped Ethan change slippers, kissed his forehead, uncle has feet, hot will walk himself. Ethan quick brush teeth sleep. Mom not accompany Ethan brush teeth? Ethan good, Mom go study some matter, Ethan brush teeth himself. Holiday before drawn draft, some places need revise, I went to study. Wanted to revise quick to accompany Ethan, this week National Day she originally thought return only at end, let Aunt rest. Ethan watched me go to study, quietly walked to door, opened it. Frederick afraid Stella if soften heart, open door not see him angry, always didn't dare leave. Just he didn't expect opening door for him was Ethan. Uncle? Ethan tilted head, body poked from behind door. Frederick squatted to eye level, Mom told you to open? Ethan shook head, word by word, I secretly opened myself. Frederick worried about this child's safety hazard, Ethan you can't open door alone, will be taken away, Mom told me many times. Ethan walked out from house, sat with Frederick on door steps. Then why still open door come out? Facing Frederick's question, Ethan didn't directly answer. Ethan thought a while, uneasily said, you, uncle, are dad? Frederick suppressed excited mood hard, he couldn't say without Stella's agreement. Ethan persisted, you are dad, right? Frederick still didn't answer, Ethan continued, I know you are dad, God Mom before often cursed Frederick scumbag, I heard Mom call your name. Frederick throat dry, wanted to defend himself but felt he really owed mother and son. Stella alone with child 5 years too hard. Lifetime rare helplessness, Frederick all felt on them. Ethan. I found child gone, anxiously rushed downstairs. From afar through door gap saw big and small at door. Mom. Ethan quickly stood, guiltily drooping head. I noticed at glance 2 mosquito bites on child's arm. Frederick, how could you instigate Ethan to open the door for you? His hands are all bitten by mosquitoes. Frederick was afraid that Stella would blame the child and Ethan would hate him for not refuting him. Ethan's head drooped lower, muttered low, I opened for uncle, uncle didn't ask me to open. I anxious, pulled Ethan to go in, didn't Mom say can't open for strangers? Sorry Mom, but uncle outside many mosquitoes. Ethan more pleaded for Frederick, Stella more worried. Ethan still didn't know Frederick his father, if knew, would he really go with Frederick? Frederick stood downstairs, many mosquitoes, soon bitten several bumps, until whole house lights completely off then left. Next 2 days I didn't see Frederick's figure again. When off plane he answered Miranda's call, probably back to City A to accompany her. Thinking this, I increasingly felt shutting him outside that night wise choice. Evening, sun gradually set, I took Ethan to nearby supermarket back. Found next small villa door piled many boxes. "Uncle!" Ethan happily shouted. I saw Frederick wave greeting us. "In future if anything, come find me directly." Shameless. Stifling feeling arose, until finished dinner not dissipated. Frederick nothing always came courting favor, either buy toys for Ethan, or send fruits. I all refused, let those things at door. Fruits rotted Frederick would take away himself, rest toys daily items still piled at home door. Until fourth Wendy came find me, she said Frederick child dad paying should, moved all those things in. I as early as second morning called Wendy explained situation, then she traveling outside. Now back, clamoring to pack Frederick for me, stopped by me. Ding dong. Ding dong. Doorbell rang, usually no one find me, except Wendy, should be Frederick came. I in living room accompany Ethan build blocks, Wendy aggressively opened door. Seeing Frederick, opened mouth cursed, "You damn scumbag still have face come." Frederick knew Wendy, when pursuing Stella, often asked her help. I before didn't know Ethan's existence, not intentional. "Stella already broke up with you. Don't come disturb her again." Bang. Door directly shut by Wendy, Frederick ate dust. Frederick came consecutively over half month, Lee aunt just back to work embarrassed ask, now privately also secretly ask me if he child father. I shook head lightly, child dad dead. Lee aunt face regret advised me, this young man quite good, handsome, look closely resemble Ethan a bit, consider for yourself. I didn't want to consider, before I already considered him once. Certificate day wind strong, I early sat in civil affairs waiting him long. He didn't come, I didn't ask more, he not like home, I at home waited him several nights. Mom, uncle put things at door. Ethan hand holding milk, reminded me Frederick came again today. I never so hoped Ethan every day in kindergarten, this way no need see Frederick. End of month, morning I out send Ethan to kindergarten. Frederick on time appeared, followed behind not far not near together. I chased him away, he smiling said, this my freedom, you want control me need get certificate with me. Ghost want certificate with him, still want me go civil affairs stand penalty one day dreaming. After sending Ethan back road, Frederick jogged to my side, I may need back City A stay few days. People all like being cheap, I no exception. Back for what? Frederick's tangle written on face, company some matter. Got it, probably accompany Miranda. Oh. I didn't continue ask, lazy to humiliate self. Night I couldn't sleep, afraid turning wake Ethan, could only close eyes rest. I suddenly recalled father's past words, forgot specifically what for. Father in front me smashed glass cup hard on ground, roared at mother, she's sick what, why you go stimulate her? Mother forcefully pushed me on ground, glass pierced my knee. She cried roared, we mother-daughter together not as good as her, better die together, complete your happiness. Living room smashable things all smashed, I reached touching knee already faded scar, felt knee hurt bad. Next day Saturday, Ethan not awake, I cheap again. I walked to Frederick home door pressed bell, don't know if he's still home. Maybe already overnight flew back accompany Miranda? Just thinking this, door opened, Frederick came out from inside. Stella. He saw me come full surprise welcomed me in, possessed I went in. Eaten breakfast? I cook bowl noodles for you okay? I shook head want refuse, Frederick already in kitchen. Noodles appearance is always good, I ate few bites found taste same as before. Very good. He didn't ask why I came, just eyes bright staring at me. What time your flight? 10. Oh. I lowered head drank 2 sips soup, many things pressing hard uncomfortable. Originally wanted directly question if back care Miranda, then crazy curse him bent. Enter door this idea gone, such hysterical argument too like mother, I afraid. Finally I scrounged bowl noodles went home. Frederick absent these days I always frequent dreams. Strange before he came I long no dreams. Evening pick Ethan school, he carrying small backpack, mom kindergarten assigned homework, submit family photo. Family photo. I never took family photo as child. When submit? Next Monday. I first thought of Frederick, then shook head I don't want photo with him. Very simple family photo became problem for me. Raising child harder than I imagined. I suddenly thought of person Sean, he friend this time just in city C. But let him take family photo how explain to Ethan? Forget, first see if Frederick back. Though heart unwilling, I still pressed Frederick home bell. First time no response, I pressed twice more still no. He not back, heart not sad, but not happy. Mom when we take photo? Just enter door Ethan ran to me hugged my leg ask. Mom call ask uncle. Ethan seemed happy, like rabbit hopping. I called Sean said this, he readily agreed. Sunday Sean came pick me and Ethan photo, morning still happy Ethan smile suddenly gone. What's wrong Ethan? I'm a bit sleepy. I didn't think more, he small love sleep normal. Sean was driving. He glanced at us in the rearview mirror and said, after we finished taking the photos, how about we take Ethan to the nearby playground? The weather was nice today, so I thought it was a good idea. That's great. I haven't taken him there in ages. Ethan sat in the high chair, very well behaved, and said nothing. I thought he was happy to go, but after the photos were taken, he yawned a few times and said he wanted to go home and sleep. Sean sighed, voice gentle, no problem, next time free go same. I a bit sorry, originally wanted treat Sean lunch then back. Back time I sat passenger, Ethan sat rear baby chair. Car near home door, I saw Frederick. He of course saw me, visibly his face sank. Inexplicably heart a bit happy, I admit heart dark. When he accompanied Miranda also didn't think of us mother-son. Uncle. Ethan toward window outside Frederick shouted greeting. Sean before seen Frederick, in my Facebook friends, he low asked, your ex-boyfriend? I noncommittally nodded, yes. Car stopped at my home door, Sean said, Stella in future family photo can still call me. I stunned, wait Sean car drove away then suddenly realized. So Sean always hid such thoughts. Frederick stood not far watching me, burning gaze made me uncomfortable. His face still so dark, felt next second emotions explode. Stella let's talk. Talk what again? I led Ethan back house first, Frederick's tone I too understand. Before when jealous temper like this. Frederick walked to me front, dark eyes looking, who is he? Stepfather you found for Ethan? Sure enough these words. I raised head met his eyes, tone unkind, none your business. Frederick's face worse, brows locked, Ethan is son, you say none my business. I felt his patience at limit, estimate I say more he explode. Thinking his angry look, I from bottom heart want laugh. Who said born by me and you? I seem never said Ethan his son. Stella. Frederick raised voice called my name. What? If matter say, no I want backroom nap. Next second I felt forward tilt force, Frederick pulled me into arms. Before I reacted, his hand on my head back, warm lips pasted, easily pried my teeth. Bastard. Frederick's strength big, I struggle not, he kissed me breathless, bloody taste scattered in mouth. Hiss. Slap. Frederick let go me, immediately my palm hard hit his face. His fair face red patch, mouth corners raised smiling look me, not loss. Frederick now look more like before, reunion this time gentle almost made me think he changed sex. Sick. I cursed turned walk, pulled wrist by him back to arms. Let go. Frederick of course not listen, he seemed angered laugh, you and him took family photo? I angry not want talk, find him take he also need home. You fucking and him what family? I want break free, hugged tighter by Frederick, family photo only with me. Why? I already broke up with him, why he say take then take? Frederick eyes slightly squinted, low threat, not take I now go and tell Ethan I'm his dad. Frederick really can do this, I believe. Already took, take again how explain? Frederick mouth raised, somewhat proud, he knows I'm his old man. I stunned, long will understand what he's saying. Ethan knows? First day meet he knew, think your bestie always curse me full name. Frederick looked like must take, anyway Ethan knew, had to afternoon retake one. Since father-son recognized, Frederick increasingly bold. Even Wendy there directly pushed door in, Wendy curse him. Frederick face proud, I come see my son not okay? One afternoon, I slept in living room, woke saw Frederick staring fixedly. I startled by him, next time not allowed come in like this. Okay. Frederick quick kissed my cheek, such thing he recently often do. Beginning I slapped him several, he slapped refreshed, more unscrupulous hands feet. You beat me to death okay. I go living room pour water, Frederick from behind hug me, hand start up down restless. Frederick, don't push luck. Beat me, I thick skin. His kisses from ear to neck, body instinct desire calling me. I started cheap, Ethan not home, my soul briefly wandered hours. After bath Frederick wrapped towel out, hair water drops not dry. Handsome man out bath. Visual impact strong. Tomorrow afternoon free? Frederick asked tone normal, as if asking tomorrow weather. You have matter? Want date you get certificate. I not surprised, from with Frederick I knew I would repeatedly love him. But certificate? I refuse. Miranda always my heart disease, this not solved I won't certificate with him. Just a slept high-end duck, I can afford price. Miranda sighed I gave her money sent away. Frederick looked victory in hand. Oh. I know special reaction, cousin early weeks ago called told me. Oh? Frederick repeated questioningly. I didn't say because Miranda not certificate. Has this reason, but not all. I stubborn not admit. Stella. He again pulled voice act spoiled call my name. Now don't want. No certificate Frederick compared before dating easier control. I dare not guarantee after certificate he can continue like this. Break up then. Stella don't fuss. Thinking those words I afraid, childhood parents shadow enough. What if after certificate someday appear Miranda number 2, number 3? Would he also say divorce then divorce? Me and Frederick like this ambiguous interacted 1 year. For Ethan's healthy growth, kindergarten parent meeting when good mood I let him go too. When Ethan's teacher said he my husband, I not good refute, only said he Ethan dad. Privately I tell Ethan, me and his dad not yet certificate. Ethan not care certificate or not, he feels he has dad mom like others. Sometimes I disdain Frederick, Ethan helps say him. Dad you even this not, if I mom also ignore you. Ethan's matter hid 1 year, Frederick's parents knew, called several to speak good for Frederick. I took time with Ethan back city once, not tell Frederick. I thought aunt uncle at least notify Frederick, result not. Day with Ethan at Foo House, night back Chi House stay. Aunt stuffed jade bracelet to me, I not accept. Spring go autumn come blink another new year, now think certificate time ditched I won't laugh. Now because no certificate no security became Frederick. This feeling too great. Wendy often say I trained Frederick like puppy. When Ethan 2nd grade, that ring I left at Foo Villa again back on my hand. Of course not because I coaxed by Frederick few words, considering reality child always need honorable identity. Plus Frederick every few days propose really annoying.